Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to day 5 of Python libraries and welcome to a new day and a new year. So, happy new year to everyone. Wishing you all a safe and a prosperous new year 2024. So, let's get started with the day 5, and today I'll be telling you about the library which is known as Tkinter. Okay, so it's written as Tkinter, okay, wherein T is silent. So this is a library with the help of which you can create GUI applications. Okay, now what do you mean by GUI applications? So basically you can create various apps, okay, like those are desktop apps, okay. So you can actually create any kind of desktop apps and you can add your own widgets to it, like in your own app, with the help of the library which is known as Tkinter in Python. Okay, so first of all, let's see how to use the Tkinter library in Python, how it works. Fine. So the most important advantage of using Tkinter in Python is you don't have to install it in Python. Okay. So if you have the Python version 3 installed in your laptops, in your phones, or in your desktops, so Tkinter will come as a inbuilt library there. You don't have to write pip install and then Tkinter. So it comes pre-installed. It's for version 3 and above. So if you have version 3 below, then Tkinter library won't work on your systems. Okay. So how to get started? Since I said it is already pre-installed and I have a version of 3 in Python in my laptop. So here I'll just write from, because whenever you want to use any library you have to write from. So from Tkinter, okay, and I want to import a module that is TK, with the help of which you can create your application, your GUI application, that is your desktop application or your desktop app. Okay, so I wrote from Tkinter import TK. Now here if I just okay, and now here if I just want to scan. Now here, if I just want to first of all check if how my app will look like it will be a blank, app itself inside your laptops or inside your desktop screen. So how it will look like, or how to check basically a empty application. So for that, what we have to do, since we have imported the TK module from the library Tkinter, so you just have to write tk dot main loop in order to just open up how the empty Tkinter frame will look like. Okay, so I'll write tk, so that's my module, so I'll give the brackets over here, so tk dot main loop. Fine. Now if I just save it and I go to my terminal, and over here I write, let me figure this off, I write Python and the name is pt.py, and when I press enter, now if you see there is a screen coming up where it says at the top TK, and this is a complete blank screen. If you see, this is a complete empty Tkinter or empty application which came up. Okay. Now next thing is, how can you add the widgets to this particular application? Widgets as in you want to add some title to your app, you want to add some buttons, some like label to your applications, and many more widgets are available which are inbuilt with widget which comes with the library Tkinter. Okay, so let's slowly see how you can add the widgets to your application. So this is my application. I'll close this. Okay, and I'll just try to add some widgets. So in order to add widgets, let's take a variable t, and I'm just storing the module tk in it, okay, which I'll be using further in my program. Right, now I want to add a title to my application. Okay, so for that, what you have to do, you can write t dot title. Okay, that means the variable in which your module is stored, that is t. So t dot title. If you don't want to store it in a variable, you can directly use tk. Okay, but make sure you are using brackets after that. Okay, so t dot title, and then in the brackets you can write whatever title you want to give. So suppose I write coding made easy tutorials. Okay, this is my title which I want to write, and now I want to view it in my app, right? So for that I'll write t dot main loop. Okay, let me maximize it so that you guys can view it. Okay, so t dot title, this is the title which I wanted in my application. So that means when my app will open up, when I go to my terminal and open up my app, so just at the top you will be able to see this written, that is coding made easy tutorials. Okay, so let's check that. Once again I'll go and save this, and then we will check the output. So pd.py. Okay, now when I press enter, if you see the screen at the top, it's written coding made easy. Okay, let me just expand it over here. So this is our title. If you see coding made easy tutorials right here, this one. Okay, so this is how one widget got added over here. Fine. So coding made easy tutorials, and the screen inside it is blank. That means my application is blank. I haven't added any kind of widget, like any kind of button or messages or um, you know, like labels or anything. I haven't added anything. So with the help of this Tkinter library, you can make any kind of desktop application which you want. Like you want to make a desktop app for WhatsApp, you can create it similar to WhatsApp, the desktop app is which WhatsApp has, or you can also create a desktop version of any kind of application like Twitter or Instagram or any other like gamings. You can create it with the help of Tkinter library itself. Okay, so moving on to the other widgets of Tkinter, how you can use them. So let's go on to a code. Now let's say I want to just fix the size of my application, that it should be in some particular size. Okay, so that I don't want to maximize and minimize the size again and again. So for that, what you can do, you can write t dot geometry. This is the another widget. Okay, so you can write geometry, or that's just a form of representing your application. Basically we cannot call it as a widget. So geometry, and then you can just mention what size you want. Suppose I want the size of 600 cross 600. Okay, so I'll write 600 cross 600 over here, and then I'll save this file. And when I open my terminal and when I try to run it, so it will be in opening up in just a form. Okay, let's check. So make sure spaces, let me save it again, and then we try to open it again. So I'll write pd.py, and then when I press enter, now if you see the app coding made tutorial, it is just fixed, like the size is fixed, it's 600 cross 600, it will be fixed. Similarly, you can adjust your size of your application which you are trying to create. Okay, next is moving on to basically the widgets part. Suppose I want to create a label inside my application, right? So that label as in, so this is my title. I want to create a label as means like inside the app I want to write something which will tell the user that what this app is used for. Okay, so for that, if you are using label, so how to use that. Okay, so for that, what you can do, since it's a form of a widget, so what we can do, we can import tk, and then along with that we can also import label so that we can use it in our program. Okay, and here we can write label, and then inside that, first of all, the variable in which your tk module is being stored, that I'll take, so t and then comma and then the text you want to give it to it. So I'll write text, and then inside this I'll write this app is used for explaining coding to beginners. Okay, this is what text I wanted. And after that, what you have to do, you have to just write dot grid after it. Okay, so you will write dot grid. Second dot grid with the brackets. Okay, now let me just minimize the screen so that you will able to see. Okay, this is how you can write. So this app is used for explaining the coding to the beginner. That means this is what the label I want inside my app to be displayed after the title, and then dot grid. Okay, that means it will be coming in the form of a grid. Okay, now if we just save this one and we try to reopen our application, so okay, so now if you see your app, it's written coding made easy tutorial, and this app is used for explaining coding to beginners. Now if you want to like the label should come up, the text size should be more, it should be bigger in size, you can also do that. You can add your enhancements in this particular label itself, wherein you want to increase the text size, you want to increase the height, the width and everything, you can do it. Okay, now next is like what if we just want to create a button. Okay, just underneath we want to create a button. So for that what we have to do, so right over here, make it. Okay, so after this line right here, I'll just create a button. So for that what you have to do, we have to use the button widget. So I'll write comma and then I'll include button. Okay, and then you can use the button over here. So I'll write button. Okay, and then I'll write first a variable name, that is t, and then the text for the button whatever you want. Suppose I write it as click me. Okay, and then I want to put some background as well for that particular button, like the background color. So this bg will be used for background color. Suppose I want to put it as black, so I'll write bg and then black inside it. You want some text color also, so for that you have to use fg and bg. So bg stands for background color, fg stands for font color, whatever font color you want to give. Okay, so I want the font color to be in the type of white, so I'll just write white over here. Okay, and I also want to give some height, some border and everything. So first of all let me check how this looked like, and then we will give some height and border everything. So let me save this and then we will check out our app again. So I go here again and then I write. Okay, so now if you see the app, what is that? It has coding made easy tutorials, and then this app is being used for explaining coding to beginners, and then there is a button which says click me. So when I click on it, it will be functional. Okay, if you want to display some message after clicking this particular button, it will give you the message. You can add those also. So this is one kind of representation how you can add a button to your GUI app or your Tkinter app. Okay, now next, what if I just want this particular button to be of blue color and I want some height, width and border width given to it. Okay, so that it looks more appealing to the viewers. Okay, so for that what you have to do, so let me close this. So over here itself you can just write comma and then okay, let me do this. So you can write, let's say I write height and I'll give it as, let's say 2. Okay, and then I also want to give the width, so I give width and I give it as, let's say 10. Okay, and I also want to give border to the button. So for that you can write border width. Okay, and whatever numeric you want to give it. Suppose I want to give the border width at 6. Okay, I'll just save this off and then I'll try to run the app again. Okay, so I'll write Python py, and then when I press enter, now if you see, now this button has a more appealing look because it has some padding to it, like the width, the height, and the border width, everything is given by me. Similarly, you can also add it into your application. Okay, now what if I want to use something like, let's say, let me close this. I give a comma over here and then I write leave equal to bracket. Okay, all right. Flat. Okay, I write relief and then flat. Okay, and now I want to just change this one. I want to change this to white. I mean, the background color should be white, and inside this should be, the text should be black. Okay, now I save this and then I just go to run the app again. Again. Save it. Okay, now if I run the app, now if you see how it's looking like, so it's like white, and then when I click it, it will come something like this. Okay, so it's like real time you're clicking the button, and then when I click it, it should look like this. Okay, and similarly you can display the message also when you click the button. Okay, depends upon your project what you're using. Similarly, there are various kinds of widgets which are available in Tkinter which you can use it, and there are some which I have written so for you guys. So if you see this code, so over here first of all we are working with label. There is one widget which is label. Okay, there is another which is button. That means when the button is clicked, then you have a message which will show your button, you click the button. Okay, so for that what you can do, so basically we created a button, right? So if you want to add any kind of message to your button, like when the button is clicked it should show some message, so for that you can use a function button click. Okay, so when the button is clicked, you can just write message box show info and then button click, you click the button, something like this. Okay, there is another widget which is entry widget, wherein you can enter your elements over there. Okay, like text, whatever you want. Okay, there is another widget which is known as check button, with the help of which you can create check buttons. Okay, like a check box in your applications. You can also create the radio buttons with the help of radio button itself. Okay, like this, the radio button, and if you want to add some messages to your radio button, like option 1 2 3, you can similarly do it in your application. Okay, you can also create list box with the help of list box widget. Okay, and you can also create a combo box. Okay, wherein the options 1 2 3 everything will come up. That also you can create with the help of combo box widget. Okay, you can also create a spin box, right, wherein like when you spin the box it should range from 0 to 10 or 0 to 100, something like that. You want something like that in your application, you can use the spin box widget at that point of time. If you want to put any progress bar in your application, you can use the progress bar widget. Okay, so let's see how these actually look like in your application. Fine, so I'll just save this and then I'll run the app. So I'll write Python and then the name of the file is t.py. Now when I open this, so let me just increase the size so that it's visible to you guys. So now when the app is opened, if you see, so here if you see there is a widget button. Okay, so this is a button which when clicked you will be able to see that you click the button. Okay, when you click on OK it will go off. Similarly, you can create yours in your GUI application or in your desktop application, which you're creating with the help of Tkinter library in Python. Okay. Now here we have like a field wherein you can enter your text like, hi, how are you? Okay. This is how you can write a text in your application. This is a check button wherein you can check. This is the radio button wherein you can use selected option 2. This message will come up. Okay, like option 1, so you selected option 1, this message will come up. Fine. Now here if you see from this particular drop down, you can select the options. Okay, so this is a kind of drop down widget. This is a kind of item widget, like item 2 selected, item 3 selected. Okay, so a line will come. Fine. So these are various kind of widgets. Now this is a spin box wherein you will spin it off and then you can see the numbers increasing. So if you want anything like spin box in your app, you can add it. Let's see, you want to see the viewers who are coming to a website, you can then create this in your application. You want to create a progress bar, so this is basically a progress bar, this one, okay, which will see you the progress. And then you can also, this is like increase and decrease the numbers. Let's say for your text you can create this, and here in you can write your text. So these are some kinds of widgets which you can use inside Python with the help of your Tkinter library, and these widgets can be used in order to create your GUI application. Obviously it depends on your project what you're working on.